Nature of Man, Part 1, Chapter 5, Beauty. In this chapter, we will consider the subject of beauty. This is a subject that most human beings are very much interested in. Most human beings seek after the beauty in all their endeavors, whether they do a regular job, are professional sportsmen, artists, teachers, garbage collectors, or any other undertaking. The desire to produce goods and services is more about producing beauty in any of these endeavors. The beautiful is the most sought after ideal that human beings have. What do we think of this? Having said this, there is much evidence of beauty all around us, but this beauty is not as readily experienced as we might like. The question is, with all the overwhelming evidence and examples of the beautiful all around us, why is this beauty not readily experienced or more consistently experienced? Have a look at anything now that you are adjacent to. Is the object beautiful? We may or may not find the object beautiful, but we have seen and appreciated beautiful objects before, such as a beautiful view, a tree, a sunset, a sky full of stars, a beautiful work of art. Beauty is not confined to the sense of sight. We have experienced beautiful sounds such as music, the sound of waves breaking on the beach, a beautiful voice, etc. Beautiful is also experienced in the sense of smell, a beautiful fragrance, the smell of flowers in bloom, the smell of fresh country air, and many other examples. Beauty is also experienced in the senses of touch and taste, a feel of silk, the touch of baby's skin, a well-tasting meal, etc. These are all examples of beauty experienced at the physical level. Let us look at beauty experienced at a subtler level. Look at a copy of your religious scripture. If it is a family copy, or if you have had it for many years, it may be worn as evidence of the use of the number of years. It surely contains universal words of wisdom. Would we say that our book of scripture is beautiful physically? We may not agree, but would we say that our book is still beautiful? Books can contain beautiful poetry, beautiful stories, words of great wisdom, and this beauty is experienced not through the physical senses, but appreciated through the mind. Beauty can also be experienced as an inner quality, for example, when viewing a performance of fine action, or a noble and selfless act, or simply any expression that is beautiful. Let us look at the beauty of discovery and creativity. Many scientists, mathematicians, or other such persons speak of the beauty found when some discovery is found, or formula or law is discovered. James Watt saw a kettle of water boiling, and how the steam lifted the lid of the kettle, and realized that the steam could lift a piston and drive a steam engine. In a flash, he saw the beauty and the revolutionary use of steam. He went on to develop the modern steam engine, and here, arguably, the industrial age was born. Another discovery was made by Archimedes, who worked for a king who wanted to ensure that his crown made of gold was authentic and silver was not used as a substitute. Archimedes knew that gold was a denser substance than silver, and if the jewelers substituted some silver for gold, and the weight remained the same, the crown would have to be larger than if it made of pure gold. But how could the size be measured? Later, Archimedes was getting into his bath and observed the displacement of water. He shouted, "Eureka! I have found it," realizing that the same method of displacement could be used to measure the volume of such an awkward shape as a crown. This moment of discovery was a beautiful moment. Finally, Mozart, arguably the most famous concert composer, describes the moment of beauty when a composition of a musical piece takes place. When I am, as it were, completely myself, entirely alone and of good cheer, say, traveling in a carriage, or walking after a good meal, or during the night when I cannot sleep. It is on such occasions that my ideas flow best and most abundantly. Whence and how they come, I know not, nor can I force them. These ideas that please me, I retain in memory, and am accustomed, as I have been told, to hum them to myself. If I continue on this way, it soon occurs to me how I may turn them to good account, so as to make a dish of it. That is to say, agreeable to the rules of counterpoint, to the peculiarities of the various instruments. All this fires my soul, and provided I am not disturbed, my subject enlarges itself, becomes methodized and defined, and the whole, though it may be long, stands almost complete and finished in my mind, so that I can survey it, like a fine picture of a beautiful statue, at a glance. Nor do I hear in my imagination the parts successively, but I hear them, as it were, simultaneously. What a delight this is, I cannot tell. All this inventing, this producing, takes place in a pleasing, lively dream. Still, the actual hearing of the whole ensemble is, after all, the best. Let us now practice the awareness exercise for 3 minutes. Let the mind become free of any concern or preoccupation. Let the mind fall still. Let the body fall still. Become aware of where you are now. Become aware of everything in the room in a general sense. Become aware of the feet on the floor. Become aware of the body seated on the chair. If the mind wavers, bring it back to stillness, without any concern or preoccupation. Become aware of the clothes on the skin. Become aware of the play of air on the face and hands. If your eyes are open, let it receive what it sees without any comment. Become aware of the sense of taste in the mouth. Become aware of the sense of smell. If the mind has wavered, bring it back to here and now. Become aware of hearing, of the immediate sounds, and then the furthest sounds. Receive them without judgment or comment of any kind. Finally, simply rest in this great awareness for a few moments. End. So far, we have considered the beauty of physical objects as perceived through the senses, the beauty of thought, of ideas, of principles as perceived through the mind. We considered the beauty of conduct as seen in fine performances, noble or selfless acts. We considered finally the beauty of creativity and discovery as experienced by scientists, mathematicians, musicians, and the like. Let us focus our attention not on what makes objects or phenomenon beautiful, but on the actual experience of beauty. What happens when beauty is experienced? What happens within our hearts and minds? What is the effect of experiencing beauty on our being? Do we not find that although beauty can be experienced at various levels mentioned, physical, subtle, etc., there is something which is common to the experience of beauty in whatever form? Does the appreciation of beauty involve a kind of recognition felt inward? And is not the experience of the recognition always the same? What has been the contemplation of this beauty in the room you are in right now? When we are in our ordinary states, do we recognize that our capacity to appreciate beauty varies greatly from one occasion to another? Something may be strikingly beautiful one day and may not be so on another day. When persons are in love, everything seems beautiful. Also, the appreciation of beauty differs greatly from person to person. What is the reason for these fluctuations in the human being's capacity to perceive beauty? Could it be that the beauty experienced and expressed is an indication and reflection of what is within us? Shantananda Saraswati, one of the great Indian philosophers of the 20th century, said, "Beauty is reflected in the objects and in the observers who receive the beauty through the objects. If there were no beauty in the observer, then he would not find beauty outside. The mere fact that beauty is seen proves that there is beauty already present in the being of the observer. Nowhere in the creation does beauty stand by itself. The physical or sensory beauty has its foundation in the mental or subtle realm. The physical forms look beautiful because the mind is beautiful." I'll just read that again. Beauty is reflected in the objects and in the observers who receive the beauty through the objects. If there were no beauty in the observer, then he would not find beauty outside. The mere fact that beauty is seen proves that there is beauty already present in the being of the observer. Nowhere in the creation does beauty stand by itself. The physical or sensory beauty has its foundations in the mental or subtle realm. The physical forms look beautiful because the mind is beautiful. To paraphrase Shantananda, the beauty that one perceives at whatever level is a reflection of the beauty within. The capacity to reflect this beauty depends on the state of being of the observer. When the observer is conscious, then this beauty is seen all around. From here on, use your conscious observer to see the beauty which is all around. Use the awareness exercise to access this conscious observer more effectively. So as always, engage with this practice for 1 week. Engage with this chapter for 1 week. Reread and carry out the practices prescribed herein. And as usual, you may send your comments or questions to nigelgittins@gmail.com, and I will respond to them promptly. Have a great week.